Duelists. Today, we're going under the sea and fishing for some waifus. Let's go. MARINCESS. What I'm assuming is a portmanteau of marine and princess. Anyway, we have all the littlest mermaids here today, and we're going to be just facilitating some simple through lines to powerful unaffected boss monsters. A Link archetype, so feel free to bring this through to the Link Regulation Festival, which should still be going on by the time this video comes out. Unlike a bunch of other archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh!, MARINCESS don't really have a gimmick. It's not like Flu, where they're enabling additional normal summons. It's not like in Sword Soul, where they're summoning tokens for synchro plays. MARINCESS just kind of exist. They do their thing. They have extenders, recyclers, etc. But because they are such a straightforward archetype, we can really move through their lines pretty simply, and we also get to play some various packages in here as well, namely something like a shark fish sort of thing, so we can go into rank 4s. But let's just get right into the deck and see if we can figure out what's going on, right? Let's lead with our play starters, right? So we've got 3 Seahorse, 3 Blue Tang, and 3 Spring Girl. Seahorse is going to be able to special summon to a zone that our MARINCESS Link monster points to, and can also banish from the grave to allow us to get another free special summon from the hand. This is excellent because when we go and link 1 into something like a MARINCESS Blue Slug, which needs a level 4 lower MARINCESS monster, can just bring back a MARINCESS from the grave. We bring back our Seahorse and then immediately link summon it, or special summon it to where Blue Slug points, and then we can go into our link 2 and keep going. Blue Tang, when normal summoned, we can send a MARINCESS monster from the deck to the grave. So once again, this can send something, perhaps a Seahorse or something like a Mandarin, which I'll talk about. And then you can go and link into the Blue Slug. And when it's used as material, we can actually excavate the top and potentially add a MARINCESS off the top of our deck. Finally, we have Spring Girl, links into Blue Slug, and then can banish a MARINCESS monster from the graveyard to special summon this from the hand. So we need something else in grave already, but this is a great way to either extend, and when it's used as link summon, we also are going to send the top cards from the deck equals the number of MARINCESS monsters we control, which could then potentially, of course, fuel Spring Girl to, and then banish that monster to special summon from the hand. We've got 2 Pascalis. This gives us a free special summon of another MARINCESS monster in our hand, so this is a great way to just go +2. In addition, this is also super important because we can banish this from the grave to return MARINCESS spell traps, and I'll get into those, but we're not running that many, but they're very crucial. So this allows us to recycle those if they've been discarded or destroyed. Lastly, 2 more MARINCESSes. The one of Mandarin that I mentioned earlier, this is kind of just a utility option when it's in the hand or the grave. If we control 2 MARINCESS monsters, we can special summon this to a zone that one of our Link monsters points to. Sleepy Maiden allows you to target a MARINCESS card you control. Now, notably, this is not just a monster. Our field spell also counts, and you can special summon this, so it's another free special summon. Notably, this is a level 5, so we can't use it to go into our Link 1 place, but this gives protection to whatever the targeted MARINCESS card was. In addition, we're playing 2 Silent Angler, free special summon from the hand, as well as 3 of the new Abyss Shark, which is also going to be a free special summon from the hand, as well as technically a search of that Silent Angler. And these allow us to very easily go into Vomit Shark, Toad, or Kraken. Now, a majority of our other MARINCESSes are level 4, so we can go into these Xyz summons with them, but usually we're going to want to be using our MARINCESSes for our Link monsters, so having these extra extenders here is just a great way to get an additional negate, destruction, disruption, whatever. 3 Pot of Desires, like I said, basically all of our cards kind of start the combo, so we just want to be drawing, and then 3 Cyanite Mining, which is huge. Also, discarding is not as big because, like I said, if we go into Blue Slug, that's going to return a MARINCESS back to hand anyway. Lastly, our MARINCESS spell traps. The huge one is the Battle Ocean. This is going to buff all our MARINCESSes, and then also every time we link summon a MARINCESS monster, we're going to be able to attach up to 3 other MARINCESS Link monsters from the grave to that monster as like an equip spell, which will buff it up by an additional 600 apiece. Also, there's this weird clause where monsters in the extra monster zone that were link summoned using MARINCESS Crystal Heart, which is basically just the only brick in our extra deck, are unaffected by your opponent's card effects. This is huge when we get to our boss monster, Aqua Argonaut. We've got 3 MARINCESS Dive. This is just another great extender. This can either special summon a non-link MARINCESS monster from the grave, or if we have the Battle Ocean, we can actually special summon from the deck, depending on what we need. So sometimes we'll special summon from the grave, sometimes we'll special summon from the deck, depending on what sort of MARINCESSes we want in rotation. Finally, just 1 MARINCESS Wave. This is essentially just an infinite impermanence, but depending on the link rating of MARINCESS monsters we have, we can get various bonus effects. So if we have 1 we can negate the effects of a face-up monster our opponent controls. If we have 2, all of our Marincess monsters then become unaffected by opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. And if we control a link 3 or higher, we can actually activate this from the hand, which is pretty sick. So usually our end board is going to be Battle Ocean, big link 4 equipped up with some things, as well as a Marincess Wave, and then potentially whatever other hand traps or Call by the Grave Infinite Impermanence that we happen to open up. That is like our basic end board, and then if we can get additional Bahamut Sharks and Totally Awesomes out, then we're cooking. Let's go into the extra deck real quick. This is where a lot of magic happens. Like I said, Blue Slug, Link 1, it's going to return a Marincess from the grave to the hand. Sea Angel is also a Link 1. This is going to get us a spell. Usually we'll be adding Dive just to facilitate continuing our plays, but if we already have Dive or we just have enough extenders, we'll add the Battle Ocean right there. Next up, our Link 2, Coral Anemone. This can special summon back technically a water monster with 1500 or less attack in our graveyard, but this is going to basically just special summon back one of our Marincess monsters to a zone that this points to, and then we can, of course, go into a Link 3 from there. Also, when this is sent to the grave, we can return a Marincess card in our graveyard back to the hand. Notably, it says Marincess card once again, so if Battle Ocean gets destroyed, we can bring it back off of Coral Anemone. Here is the single Crystal Heart. This doesn't matter except for if we have enough material to go into this, and then this plus potentially a Coral Anemone can get us to our Link 4s. One Splash Mage. Splash Mage is just a good all-purpose sort of tool to help us link climb. Marbled Rock we don't usually go into, but it does, once again, recycle things from the grave, and there are some battle tricks that it can do. It's a Link 3, so if we need to, we can go into it. Coral Triangle, new from the Cosmic Ocean pack, allows you to pitch a water monster to add a Marincess trap, so this is how we're going to get that wave if we didn't draw into it. Also, we can banish this card from the graveyard when only our opponent controls a monster, and we can actually special summon Link monsters from our graveyard whose combined Link rating equals exactly 3. This is a great way to attempt to recoup our board if we were broken on turn 2 or so. Lastly, our 2 boss monsters, our 2 Link 4s, Great Bubble Reef and Aqua Argonaut. Aqua Argonaut is going to be the go-to for if we are attempting to OTK or we want a unaffected tower style effect, right? When this is in the extra monster zone, our opponent can only attack this. It should be unaffected due to the effects of Crystal Heart and Battle Ocean, and it should be a 4300 attack beat stick because we will have equipped it with 3 Link monsters from the effect of Battle Ocean. In addition, we can return a water monster we control and a card our opponent controls to the hand during our turn, and then quick effect, when our opponent activates a spell or trap card, we can special summon one of the equipped Marincess monsters and negate the activation. Now, notably, this doesn't destroy, and it only targets spell and traps, but once again, we are unaffected by basically everything, so we're not super pressed. Bubble Reef is going to be our play depending on the matchup. This is kind of our grindy option. Obviously, it's going to be a beat stick as well with Battle Ocean, but during each standby phase, we can banish a water monster from our graveyard to draw a card. So we can draw a ton of cards off this. Also, each time a monster is banished, we can get a boost until the end of the turn. In addition, we can also pitch a water monster from our hand to special summon one of those Marincess monsters that we have banished off of Great Bubble Reef. So this allows us to continue to extend as well. As I said, game plan is always just link climb, get one of our Link 4s out, fully equipped with Battle Ocean, as well as hopefully a wave plus another hand trap or 2. But let's see how we do it. Get into the games. All right, on the play, and this hand is cracked. We have everything we can need. We'll go Pascalis, and Pascalis will give us in a special summon from the hand. We'll go for the Seahorse. Like I said, Seahorse is full combo. Here is Blue Slug. Blue Slug will return the Seahorse to hand, which we can then immediately special summon to a zone that our Link monster is pointing to. Sea Angel will allow us to search the Battle Ocean. So now we're cooking with gasoline. We'll activate the Battle Ocean. Now we can go into our Link 2, the Coral Anemone. Now, something that you have to be very conscious of in this deck is where you have your arrows pointing to, because most of the Marincess cards specify it has to be to where an arrow is pointing to. So there, with the Seahorse back, we are able to go into the Crystal Heart, and then using the Crystal Heart plus the Coral Anemone, we can go into the Aqua Argonaut, and it will be unaffected. We will bring back the Seahorse for next turn because, like I said, it's full combo, so we have it. And then we will equip to the Aqua Argonaut. Now we still have more gas. We can actually fire the Pot of Desires. Unfortunately, not drawing any hand traps, but we can basically do our full line as many times as we want at this point. Our opponent goes to Infinite Impermanence. Unaffected, my friend. We're chilling. They're going to go for Magician's Rod. I'm going to Marincess Wave. No searching for you. And since we do control a Link 3 or higher, we were able to activate that from the hand. Opponent going for the Terraforming. I'm actually going to attempt to negate that. I don't want them getting something like a Secret Village of the Spellcasters if this is indeed a Dark Magician deck. Special summon the Coral Anemone up just so that we can once again get that recycling trigger if it goes to the grave. Our opponent's going to go into Artemis. They already had the Secret Village of the Spellcasters. That's fine. They're also going to attack in for whatever reason. Yeah, interesting. But yes, that's the main combo, right? We ended with the wave. We had a Aqua Argonaut fully suited up with the Battle Ocean, and you kind of got to see the main line through, that being Seahorse kind of just does everything we need, and then we can shape our play around whatever other sort of extenders we have. Back on the play, and similarly, this hand is pretty darn cracked. Let's go Pascalis, special summoning the Blue Tang. Blue Tang will trigger. We're going to send a Spring Girl, which we'll probably add back off of our Blue Slug that we're going to link into right now. Blue Tang will also trigger since it was used for the Link Summon, and we will get to check out the top of our deck. There's a Sleepy Maiden, another Pot of Desires, and a Spring Girl. I'm going to add that Sleepy Maiden. Once again, this is an extender, free special summon from the hand. Spring Girl, come back to me. We will go into the Sea Angel, because once again, we don't have any of our spells, so we are going to want to add the Battle Ocean. Activate the Battle Ocean, and then link up for a Anemone. Once again, we are freeing up our zones where our arrows are. Anemone will go back, and then now we can go Spring Girl. Spring Girl does not have to summon to a zone and arrows pointing to, so we can go Spring Girl and out into Crystal Heart. Now that we have two... Unfortunate that we milled the wave. I'm actually going to go for Pot of Desires now, just to see if we can pull anything else. And we can. Here is a Sleepy Maiden. Sleepy Maiden will special summon. I'm going to special summon the Silent Angler. Now we go for the Aqua Argonaut. Aqua Argonaut will trigger, Coral Anemone will trigger, and we can actually add back that wave as well. Because it is specifically a Marincess card, not a Marincess monster. Would have liked to special summon the Abyss Shark, and that with the Silent Angler would have allowed us to go Bahamut Shark and then Toad, but unfortunately, Abyss Shark's special summoning condition states that when you do, you add a level 3, 4, or 5 fish monster from your deck to your hand, except Abyss Shark, and we actually banished our other Silent Angler off of the Pot of Desires, so we did not have a target, so we could not special summon it, unfortunately. So these guys are just kind of out here chilling, unprotected, unfortunately, but we should be fine with the Aqua Argonaut. Our opponent's going to go for Foolish Burial Goods. They send UA Penalty Box. Banish the UA Penalty Box. I'm getting the Stadium. I negate the activation, thinking that this will cause it to go to the grave, but it's a field spell, so it just kind of is chilling. I will admit, I also was playing a little sloppy during this turn just because my time was so low from going through the combo in the beginning. I was still learning the deck, and it was taking me some time, especially now that they've cut the clock down. But our opponent's just going to do the UA thing. The field spell is pretty crazy. They're going to go for the Called by the Grave. I'm just going to let them have it. It's fine. And they're going to realize that they cannot target anything except for the Aquanaut for attacks. So they're going to just continue to bounce in and out and swap around. All right. We can go for the Pascals, giving us an additional special summon. Here comes the Spring Girl. Spring Girl is going to go for the Blue Slug. Blue Slug will add back. Now, we're actually getting a little cramped on space here, especially with where we can get our Link monsters going to. So, we're going to have to bring the Spring Girl back and then start clearing up some zones. Let's link into another Coral Anemone. Now we can go for the Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark will allow us to detach and get the Totally Awesome, of course. And now we can go for the Bubble Reef. We've got both of our main boss monsters. Spring Girl will come back with the Coral Anemone. And then we can start attacking. Opponent's going to return and get out the Player Manager. Player Manager will trigger. They're going to target our Bahamut Shark, but I have the wave, and I do indeed control a level Link 3 or higher monster, so I'm going to negate the Player Manager and maintain our Bahamut Shark. And with that, our opponent scoops it up. We would have been able to walk over both of their creatures with our Marincess and then get in with the Bahamut Shark. We would have had an additional negate off of our Aqua Argonaut, still 2 links that we could have special summoned up to negate. We would have got a Toad as well, and we would have been drawing a bunch of cards with our Great Bubble Reef, and we had plenty of water fodder in the grave. And that's the deck, MARINCESS. Very straightforward. I hope you kind of saw the main combo line here, but, you know, turns out that it's hard to out a card that is very, very large, 4,300 attack, can negate things, and also is unaffected by our opponent's card effects. I will say, one of the weaknesses of this deck is that you really need Battle Ocean to stick, because if it goes away, now your monsters can be affected by card effects. Luckily, like I said, we have ways to get it back with things like Coral Anemone, but you could always consider running a second one just so that you have that redundancy. Since the MARINCESS core is not that large, and especially since you don't need that many spell traps, you can customize this the way you want. I opted to play the Signet Mining, Potted Desires, and Fish package, which allows us to, you know, go into things like Botman Shark and Totally Awesome, and as well as Kraken in the extra deck. But there are a few ways that you could build this. Here is a version that's a little bit more teched against the meta. We're playing a ton of hand traps, obviously DD Crows, Nibirus, we've got a Feather Duster just in case, and we're playing all of the classic hand traps. We don't need the extra extenders, because as long as we open either a MARINCESS or a Signet Mining, we're pretty much in business. Also, I opted to take Kraken out of the extra deck. Well, we were already running Splash Mage, but Splash Mage into Transcode Talker into Access Code Talker for even better OTK potential, since even though we do produce big unaffected monsters, usually we can't punch through for the full 8,000 that we need. So we can go for the Access Code Talker. We're going to have plenty of links in grave that we can pop, and then we can punch in for lethal. But once again, since a majority of our MARINCESS are level 4, we can still go into the Bahamut Shark into Totally Awesome as necessary. Hope y'all liked the video. This deck is surprisingly budget for what you need. Really, you only have 2 ultras that you need for the MARINCESS. Obviously, if you want to play things like Signet Mining, all the hand traps, if you want to play the additional extra deck stuff, you'll need some more ultras. But really, you can play this very much on a budget, and it would have a similar core to something like the Shark deck, utilizing things with Abyss Shark, Silent Angler, etc. Let me know what other archetypes you want me to play next, and I'll see you in the next one.